Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, The Nightmare Warriors. Now, The Nightmare Warriors is, of course, a sequel to the comic book series Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, which I just did a review for, and you can go check out that review if you want. Now, this comic book series, like the first one, is a 6-part comic book series, and here I have all 6 parts which have been put together in this collection. Now, this one, like the first one, is written by James Kuhoric. I'm still not sure if I'm saying his last name right, and the original story for this was written by Katz and James Kuhoric, and most of the artwork in this is done by Jason Craig. Now, Nightmare Warriors picks up where the first one left off. Now, the first Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic book series ended where Ash and this girl thought they destroyed Freddy Krueger and Jason. Like, this girl, she read a passage from the Necronomicon which sent Freddy Krueger to hell, and then Jason went to the bottom of Crystal Lake, and Ash and this girl thought that they got rid of Freddy Krueger and Jason, but in this one, it's basically set like 6 or 7 months after the events of the previous Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic book series, and what happens is it turns out that Jason is still alive, and he ends up going after Ash and this girl, and you find out that after the events of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, Ash and this girl started dating, and what happens is Jason ends up coming for this girl and killing her, and now the police think Ash did it, so now Ash is on the run from the police, and he's also trying to find Jason so he can get revenge on Jason for killing the girl. And what happens is basically, in this, you find out that the government has somehow found out about Freddy Krueger and Jason and the Necronomicon, and the government gets their hands on the Necronomicon, and they use this machine, and basically the machine, I guess, is like translating passages from the Necronomicon, but basically they end up bringing Freddy Krueger back from hell, and they think they have Freddy Krueger under their control, but it turns out he's just fooling them. But basically they now want to use the Necronomicon as almost like a weapon of war. Like, they want to use the passages from the Necronomicon to, use it, like, for warfare, which is kind of interesting, but at the same time a little weird in a way, because it doesn't really explain, like, how the government found out about the Necronomicon or found out about Freddy Krueger. It almost makes a little sense how they found out about Jason, because you already knew that the government knew about Jason in Jason Goes to Hell, but even in that movie they never explain really how the government found out about Jason. But basically what happens is while the government thinks they have Freddy Krueger under their control, Ash ends up teaming up with other people who have dealt with Freddy Krueger and Jason before, and in this they actually bring back characters who were in the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies and the other Friday the 13th movies, which I actually thought was pretty awesome how they brought a lot of these characters back. And like they bring back the character of Neil Gordon, who was one of the main characters in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, like, and I actually really liked how they brought him back, because when you think about it, he was actually a pretty important character in Dream Warriors, because he was the one who basically stopped Freddy Krueger at the end of that movie, so it kind of makes sense that they would bring him back for this comic book series. They also bring back the character of Maggie, who was the main character in Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, who you found out in that movie was actually Freddy Krueger's daughter. They actually bring her back in this one, and something happens with that character, which I don't want to give away, but when it happens, it doesn't really explain like how it happens or why she does what she does, but if you read it, you probably understand what I'm talking about. They also bring back the character of Alice Johnson, who was in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5, and they bring back her son Jacob from A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which I also thought was really awesome how they brought those characters back. And also from the Friday the 13th series, they bring back the character of Tina Shepard from Friday the 13th Part 7, and they bring back the character of Rennie from Friday the 13th Part 8, and they bring back the character of Stephen Freeman from Jason Goes to Hell, and they bring back his daughter Stephanie, who was only a baby in Jason Goes to Hell. So they bring all these characters back, and they even bring back the character of Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th Part 4, 5, and 6, which I thought that was awesome how they brought his character back. So I really like how they brought all these characters from all the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies and all the other Friday the 13th movies, and I liked how they brought them all together in this comic book series and had them all team up with Ash to try to stop Freddy Krueger and Jason. I thought that was actually really awesome. What was I gonna say? One thing that I do kind of wish they did was I wish they would have brought back the character of Ginny from Friday the 13th Part 2, and maybe even the character from Friday the 13th Part 3. I thought it would have been cool to see, like, those characters show up in this, but they don't come back in it. But the fact that they brought a lot of these characters back, I thought was really cool, actually. What was I gonna say? But yeah, I really enjoyed Nightmare Warriors. They even bring back Amanda Krueger. If you've seen from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors and Dream Child, she actually comes back at the end of this, but I don't want to give it away, but I really enjoyed this. But one thing I will say about this is, even though I enjoyed it and I loved how they brought all these characters back, I will say, there are things in this where, even though I liked it, I can kind of get why some people wouldn't like it, because let's just say that this one is actually really, really over the top. Like, a lot of really, really, like, weird things happen in this, like, basically, the fact that, like, the government is now, like, using the Necronomicon and trying to take control of Freddy Krueger, that's a little weird. But also, basically, what Freddy Krueger does is he actually ends up taking control of an army of demons and Deadites, and I shit you not, he actually unleashes them onto Washington, D.C. That I thought was pretty over the top how it was done, but and I can get why some people wouldn't like that. I thought it was kind of cool, but I think it would only work in a comic book. I don't think what they do in this, I don't think they would ever work in, like, if they ever made a movie based on the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash comic books. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, that's my review on Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, the Nightmare Warriors, and bye.